Okay.
Here I am. I'm recording. And hello, namaste, Oluwa,
Namaste, my sister.
my brother, my soul family.
Oh,
And it's so nice to see you again. We haven't had
too
this video chat in a while. How has
long now, too
it
long. What's going on? You're
been? I
dying on them.
know.
Kidding. I
We
bet
meet in the
meditation.
astral. We talk
That's true.
in telepathic ways, and we're
Yes.
always connected. So that's for
Yeah.
sure.
Absolutely.
And I see you're
Absolutely.
doing a lot of good work over there. I'm just burning my
Please, please smoke it up.
incense.
Remove all the bad elements.
I'll stop it. Yeah. So hey, this is for all you guys who's watching. Clean up your energy a little bit. So
Thank
to
you.
affect you as well. And
Thank
today
you.
we have a really interesting subject that I've been wanting to talk to you about. It just kind of dawned upon me kind of this morning, actually. I realized who is the best person to talk about that: conscious parenting.
Ooh, trying to get me in trouble now. Huh? I thought you liked
Oh,
me.
yeah. Not in trouble. Come on, you are trouble. That's your second name, okay?
You're right. You're
I get
right.
so pissed
You're
off
right. You're right. I
watching
do
your
love
videos.
controversial. You're so right. I love controversial issues because everybody just wants to be all respectable, and I'm like, fuck that. I don't. I never give a shit about being respectable. Just speak the truth, because the more one begins to have interest in respectability, then you can't be honest anymore. And I'm like, I don't give a shit about being respectable. Just speak from your heart, and
Right.
you know. So anyway, so yeah, definitely. Thank you for seeing that in me, and thank you. It's a compliment, imagine.
Well, we'll start some trouble today. And I will, I'm going to ask you some questions. I just want to tell you guys who are watching, if you are a parent, watch this and probably you'll realize that you've been doing it wrong the whole time.
We, we- we're not going to say they're doing it wrong. That might trigger them. We're just going to say not as
I
efficient,
want to say it like that because
not as
I want them to
efficiently.
keep watching and see, like, okay, what are they talking about? Let me watch this so I can argue.
That's true. That's true. That's true. You're so good at this. Thank you. I love that about you.
I love provoking people. I mean, bring it on. I'm
You
ready. I
you
did
have
have my
to.
rebirth, just like you noticed. During this eclipse, it really just kind of turned me inside out again. And I've been through a few of those, but this was very powerful, and it opened my eyes on some more truths. It's like I have even more courage now to speak my truth. It's like I don't worry about anything anymore, how much backlash I'm getting from people, and I'm not getting it anymore like I used to. It's like the more I'm speaking my truth, being myself,
Absolutely.
the less resistance I'm actually getting. It even these days, it's like I feel like everything is just so harmonious in a
Of
way,
course. Of
because
course.
people are also finding themselves and they're finding their own truth. They're starting to relate to what we're discussing here. They're starting
Absolutely.
to really listening, you know, things are
Absolutely.
sinking in. So, and you're a big part of it, this whole movement. Like every time I see you on your page, you're busy, you're running your live streams on the Facebook. I don't even have the time to watch everything. So maybe some of these things we can like kind of repeat, and it's okay with me because my audience is different than your audience. And hopefully more people will get this information. And I'm asking you guys, forward this video to your friends who are parents. And even if you don't agree with everything, just at least listen to this, question things, and try to understand. Don't just like deny what we're saying. Oluwa is an amazing person to discuss these things. It's like I don't even want to go into details about like who you are, all these things you can learn later. Just listen to the message and see how much you can resonate with this. And that being said, I'll give you the floor, so you could just go ahead and maybe start with telling your thoughts about like the existing education system or existing way, why it's not working, and why these children are not getting the right treatment. And maybe I even want to touch up on the fact that there are new kinds of children that are being born right now.
All those
They're different.
indigos, shindigos,
Indigos, crystals, and now there's these rainbows that are coming in. It's amazing. And I mean, I'm sure you guys are noticing, like, these kids that are being born now, they're absolutely conscious.
They're radiant beings.
They're aware, they're fully aware, and they come here to teach us. So how can we be a good parent? How can we give them what they need and not what we think we should impose on them?
Oh my goodness, yes.
Go for it. Share something, and then we can just flow from there.
Yeah, that's a lot of questions, my sister. But okay, let's start. I am one.
I'm here to guide you in the right direction if you start getting along.
Okay, that was a packet. I was like, oh, how do I open the box now? Which one do I start with? It's like juicy. Anyway, thank you.
So input and insights from modern day mystic Oluwa Adams. Thank you. I know this will be epic, and I'm very excited. So just take your time and see what is the most important thing, I guess, for the parents to hear right now. Like, what do you think can use some improvement?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's so much. Sorry?
In today's world.
Absolutely. I mean, there's so much so many perspectives on this that we could be talking for a few more hours. I will still be on the topic.
Right.
Because as you were saying earlier, beautifully, you were saying education. And I'm like, as you were talking, I was like, what education she's talking about? There's no education on the planet anymore. It doesn't exist. And what it doesn't exist, because my view of education is not the conventional, but it's probably going to be similar to yours. To me, true education means somebody who's able to bring somebody's inner gifts out. That's an educator. You don't impose anything on anybody. That is so ridiculous in my view. It's rude. You are imposing this nonsensical, no matter how brilliant it is, you are introducing an idea that's very foreign to the soul. No, the main, in my view, of education, function of education is to look at a soul and say, what are you here for? Oh, this is what you want to do. Okay, this is the best. Okay, let's guide you in the best way so that you can fulfill that goal. So you try to assist us to be able to articulate, to walk, so that they can bring that gift to planet Earth. But what do? No, we're Muslim, we're Christian, we're Jewish, all kinds of stuff. That's not what it is. The soul doesn't give a shit about that. That's secondary. The soul is more concerned about, is this the right situation for me to fully evolve and flower? So that's what education is about. So for me, when I talk to my friends, and I'm like, in my view, the first 7 years of a child's life, leave them alone as much as possible. Of course, make sure that they don't die, they don't go to the road and crawl to the road. No, safety. Parents, in my view, we should change the name of a parent to a safekeeper. You are the one, the existence that says, keep this being who's new on the planet, keep it safe till it's able to function by itself. To me, that's parenting. So that you have to be responsible. But in terms of the mind, education, spiritual stuff, I would say oftentimes parents and society do damage because we impose on the child. I'm like, leave the child alone. Let it be as wild as possible, him and her. Because what happens is when we meditate in life, we meditate, we do spiritual practices. What do you think the goal is? You know this, but let me just say, what do you think the goal is? The goal is to be able to be with what is. That's the goal of meditation. And all children already have it. But what do we do with children? The first 7 years, they're meant to be left alone so that their presence can still be thick. Because they still have presence, their heart is open.
First 7 years. Why the first 7 years specifically? Can you explain
Because that's how the soul, that's how it works in existence. Things happen in sevens generally, or nines. But 7 is very common. So what happened in the first 7 years, the spirit soul learning how to be in the body. So that the first 7 years is about the spirit soul saying, okay, how do I function in this dimension? It's weird. I can't fly around. I have to walk in this body. So the first 7 years, that's the first thing. The baby is describing exploring the body. But for us, we're like, say, no, you're Muslim. The soul is saying, wait, I can talk about that later. Literally, all souls are saying that. Don't worry, later. But we're like, no, I'm your father. I know more. You want to survive on this planet? You will die if you don't. So the baby says, oh shit. As opposed to like learning how to be in the body. But that's the first 7 years, learning how to be in the body. It begins to worry about some ideas that may or may not be true. And what that does to the spirit, people don't realize it. That means that person would not be in the body. That's why most humans are not embodied. It's not normal. The reason for it is because we introduce ideas too fast. So the child is not taking, the spirit is not aligning, because that's how one can be in the body. The spirit soul has to align with the body, and then one is here present. If the first 7 years, the child is left alone, less ideas, not too much, very little, that child will be a Buddha by 21 years old, guaranteed, will be enlightened. I can almost guarantee it. 21, awake. Why? Because that consciousness will remain clean and clear. So whatever the soul learns later will be like distant. It will be far from it, which is the state of meditation. Anybody who meditates for a while, you begin to notice ideas begin to recede. Every child has that capacity. If you just leave them the fuck alone. So by the time you start giving them ideas, 7 or 8 years old, now they can say, oh, those are ideas. That's not me. What every soul begins to feel to is that's me. The ideas, they start collecting it. They hold it around themselves. That's how the soul begins to suffer and suffocate. They can't tell the difference between I and that, that is the idea. This is me, like Descartes said. I think, therefore I am. Every child becomes that Descartes too young. It is tragic, because ideally the human spirit is designed to awaken by 21. It's designed like that. First 7 years, be in the body, learn to be in the body. Then the next 14 years after that is to learn how to make love, how to relate, because it's one thing to be in the body. Another thing is to be able to be a social animal, to be able to interact. So by the time somebody is 21 years old, the whole brain is formed. Now you're a human. Now awakening can happen. The brain has to be ready, because one cannot become enlightened if the brain is not ready. It has to be ready. 21 is fully grown. Now awakening happens. And then that person walks on earth as a Buddha, a functioning Buddha who knows how to relate, how to love, and he or she knows exactly what he or she is here to do. But for a lot of us, we didn't get lucky like that. The first 3 years, they grab us. Oh, you're a Hindu, you're a Christian. We believe you're black. Right.
You're a boy, you're a girl.
So that's why after people turn 21, they're not awake. So they have to, the average time, if one's already messed up by the parent, which is just karmic or whatever one chooses to help heal for the planet, right? Therefore, it might take another 20 years to clean it out. That's what happens. 20 years of sadhana is about cleaning house again, which wouldn't have been necessary if we hadn't bombarded these kids with ideas. 20 years now wasted. But some people, some souls chose that, even though they were already enlightened, already fully realized, they chose to have a traumatic father or mother so that they can then help the planet to heal that. It's like a sacrifice. They come clean. But they're like, you know what, let me take some of that karma. So they'll take some of it. They may have an abusive father, not because their karma is bad, but because it's a service. So for those kind of souls, they may not be enlightened until they're 40, 42, usually 42, fully enlightened, 42. Even the Buddha, 42. It's usually a classic. Because another 21 years now to clean house, which I'm like, why? You could have just bought. So that's, again, I don't want to, I could talk about this for so much because it's such a beautiful, juicy topic. And in terms of the indigos, if an indigo, for example, which means somebody who came blue, that's the indigo. Because, there are different dimensions, right? Your audience knows about the Pleiadians, everything. The Pleiadians are the green ones. They're very green because they're full of love. Love is often green by nature. It's green. It's embracing. If that consciousness expands, it becomes Syrian, blue. So a Syrian incarnating is an indigo. That's what they call indigo because their soul maintains the blue diamond that the soul is. Should I keep talking?
Yes, keep
okay.
going.
Their soul radiates this blue energy. So anybody who's sick can say, oh, that's an indigo, blue. But there are many types that it's not talked about because people focus on the indigos. Let me say a little about the indigos now, a little bit.
Yeah, actually, this is a good subject because I'm an indigo for sure. And what I know is when we came and we started really coming in big quantities in the 80s. in late 70s.
60s,
It
60s, I would say started in the 60s generally.
started, right? But then like this huge
80s
influx is
became
like,
like more common. Yeah, you're right.
right. And I noticed like this whole generation, at least most of my friends, we're all about breaking the system. We are all rebels.
Born rebels,
Eating.
born rebels. I love indigos. They're born rebels.
So
They're like, fuck.
maybe in this way you can talk a little bit more about the difference between the indigos, crystals, and maybe even the rainbows, because rainbows are just
Okay. We're
starting
gonna
to
cover
come
them
in
all. We're
right
gonna talk
now.
about them all. Every one of them. No, not even one. Okay, let's get to it. Is that okay?
Yes.
Because this is such a juicy topic. I'm so happy to talk about this because I again I have to. There's a disclaimer that I've seen. I've met a lot of indigos in my journey, and oftentimes I see ego. I'm like, ego, you become an ego. Stop it, drop it. And but some of them don't listen. But I'm like, from my heart, I'm like saying, yeah, I know you're indigo. Your soul is so blue. But I'm like, well, you have to realize that indigo-ness in the body.
Right.
So that's often the job for a lot of indigos. Like, it's not enough to have already been a Syrian. Now you have to experience it in an enlightenment and then incarnate it. That's the work. So that's why I'm like, drop it, forget about being an indigo, because otherwise it can become, not you, I'm talking generally.
Right.
I'm like, forget about the idea for a while about calling yourself indigo. Just know that means you are already a Syrian. What does that mean? It means your soul has entered what is called the blue pearl. You're already a blue pearl being. You can never lose that. But I'm like, but what is the point of having that if you can't incarnate it? So for me, some of my work with people is how to guide them and to remind them so that they can then get on the straight line. Otherwise, it's just because an ego identity, I'm indigo. I'm like, no, bring it in the body. Because there are many kinds of new beings entering the planet. Many types. Some are indigos, like you said, some are rainbows. The rainbow ones, for me, from my own, because everything I say is my own experience. I don't read these things. I don't read these books. I haven't read books in years. But for my own knowing is when I see the rainbow ones, when I sense them, so to speak, it's like they have many colors of the rainbow. That means they have all the personality types, a lot of it. Like usually one is primary for most people, or two are primary, or three are primary. These guys are rare, maybe 1 in a billion. It means they reflect the whole of human consciousness, all of it, they embody it. That means they have more work to do. That's why it's not always, people think, oh, I'm a rainbow. I always feel sorry for rainbows. I'm like, you know what you decided to do? Why did you choose so much? Because not to make fun, can I speak more on this? I'm just like, then you have to, that means you're going to feel the pain of all the personality types. That's a lot of work because each personality, each archetype has pain, particular pain. Some of them are like, nobody loves me. Some are, I'm alone. Some are this and that. Just to have one can be traumatic for one soul in one lifetime. One pain. Now you're processing for all 8, or 7, or 8, or 9. That's a lot. But it's a challenge for rainbows. If they can do this work, which is part of what I love to do with the rainbow people, I'm like, I'm not the only one. Anybody can do it. They can do it themselves too. But it just requires patience because there's always an ego with very advanced beings. It just comes to the territory. The ego is there. So you're going to have to keep sometimes allowing their ego to be and sometimes slashing it. That dance, it requires somebody who has patience because the rainbows, they're going to test anybody that wants to work with them. They're like, no, I won't work with you unless you pass my test. So there's always this head ramming stuff. You're like, just relax, I'm your friend. They're like, no, I have to test you. So you have to allow all the 12. It's not easy to process all that. That's why only very advanced souls come as rainbows. It takes incredible. You have to be pretty much a galactic being. Pretty much to have, the whole galactic ladder, from the Sirian to the Arcturian to the Orion, beyond the Orion to the galactic blue center inside the blue hole.
And just to interrupt you before some people are like, what are you even talking about? Okay. You should guys watch the video I just did yesterday with my friend Max about our galactic origins. That we all have this DNA from different galaxies. We're not actually human, we're not really came, you know, from monkeys, or the according to the evolution theory. So, you know, this is very deep subject, and we are kind of already diving a little bit deeper into this. So if you want to go to basics, you can watch some of these videos before this. But go ahead. I hope I didn't interrupt your
No.
chain of thought.
Again, like, I love people that tell me, you know, because there's a whole infinity here to talk
Right.
about. So
Right.
that helps me to like know, I mean, how to direct the energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so watch that video. Maybe that will break it down for them, because there's a system that I teach in my workshops, which is on the 1 to 9 paradigm. The first dimension is in the earth core. Second is surface of the earth. 3D is the mind and ego. Fourth is the angels and the gods. The fifth are the Pleiadians, and then, you know, from the Pleiadians to the Syrians, Arcturian. So that's the ladder up to the galactic center and existence itself. Okay. So that's what I was talking about earlier about the rainbows. They are often galactic. I can't, personally, again, I speak from my own experience only, I can't. So somebody might disagree with me, but from my own knowing, right now on this planet, I don't think there can be more than 100 rainbows. I don't think so. I doubt it. I doubt it.
Do you
Again,
think
anything
it
is
depends
possible.
on the frequency of Earth? Like the lesser is, you know, the energy, the less density it is, the easier it is actually to incarnate for some
Yeah.
of these beings.
Yeah, but the rainbows it's very hard to come from the galactic center to come as a human being. Can I speak a little bit about that? A little bit?
Yes, please.
It's very difficult to come from the galactic center to the earth. Very difficult, because it's a galactic being is somebody who has finished the journey. You've melted into the galactic center. You've become one of the black hole beings. Now you are a galactic being. You've dissolved. Now your whole being contains that whole galaxy in your being. And now you want to come as a human being. It's basically that person has to, oftentimes their life is not easy, because they are coming from the source. That means they have to process for the whole of it. So that's why they come up often as rainbow. They're here for the whole galaxy. They don't make a choice that, oh, some teachers are like, I'm going to work with only the people that are good or disciplined, ascetic. They're like a supermarket. They're like saying, everybody come. Whatever it is, your nature, come to me. That's their life work. So oftentimes, I mean, they rarely start teaching until they're 40, really. Like, they may start teaching before then. They may teach here and there, but oftentimes they're 40, because their level of work is, you know, it's like they have to work with all kinds of personalities, and they have, anybody's welcome. So that's why sometimes they get infiltrated by CIA. That's that kind of teacher. Yeah, that's because they don't say no to anybody. They might see that I'm being infiltrated, but they won't do anything. They just be like, let it happen. That's why those are the masters that often become very controversial, because they allow everything. They see it, but they're like, this is my work. I have to allow this. Even though they're like, this is not my preference, but you know, you have to allow it because you are working galactically.
So the rainbows are like from the future, basically.
Yeah, very, like I say, in a one single lifetime, again, from my own knowing, just as a mistake, 100, I would say, because it's very, to do it, it takes Christ was one of those. Jesus Christ, who people called, was a rainbow. That's why he was able to do that work. He did it for the whole archetypes. That's why his life was very difficult. He came to that purpose. Of course, in recent times, we have Osho, another galactic being. Yeah. That's why he had to be the way he had to. He just allowed it all. He's a galactic being.
And Osho, and it's one of my favorites of all times, but he really got me thinking about this education system and everything that needs to change. He's the one who said, he literally said that the education system we have right now is stupid. It doesn't teach you anything. It doesn't teach you how to live. It just teaches you how to survive and how to make a living, how to be a slave.
How to be a spider in the world. How to be a spider, basically. How to be like a one of the parts of their web.
He literally was angry about this whole thing. He was saying, like, yeah, you have to change. We have to change this. It's not gonna last. Like, and he talks a lot about this new world, the new earth kind of education system, and what needs to be taught, what the priorities that need to be given. Even if we have these institutions, even if, whether you're homeschooling your kids, whether you are we actually make these institutions like schools where they learn something, it has to be changed from the root. It has to
Exactly.
completely
The very
transform.
root, the foundation. Yeah, the foundation of it.
So, and on that note, since you talk about the indigos and some rainbows, what about the crystals? Can you mention some things
Okay.
about them?
The crystals are a whole different ball game, but let me see what I can say about those. The crystals always make me laugh because, again, the ego. See, I'm not one against ego. To me, again, this is just me speaking right now for myself. I can't think of somebody who doesn't have a big ego to become enlightened. Because the very nature of awakening, from my experience, is the ego has to be big enough for it to suffer. And in that suffering, that's what bursts it. So if somebody has very little ego, too much in the community, their life will be too easy. They won't feel the torture.
Okay, is this why, do you think, because crystals, they're mostly, the majority of them are like in the mid-20s right now, is what I noticed.
Some 20s, some 30s, some even 60s. Because to me, what I call the crystal, again, I don't know if that's the same, but you tell me if that's not what you're calling. What I call crystal children, crystal people, are people who are, their energy is so crystallized, even before they were born so crystallized that when they took birth, they never really fell asleep. They never.
So what about the ego? How it's in the way? Okay, let's forget maybe the crystals or non-crystals. What I'm noticing is that the people that are really brainwashed right now, that are falling for these movements, you know, these lives matter, those lives matter, they're going with protests, they're arguing about politics, they don't even know exactly what they're talking about, are the young kids. They're like not even 20, they're like from like 15, 16 years old, already falling for this stuff. They're running around the house with the lozenges in the head, like with the banners, you know, demonstrating naked in front of their parents. Like the kind of stories I hear right now, it's absolutely ridiculous. So
Madness,
you
pure
know,
madness.
it's madness. And I think it's really important right now for the parents to wake up and to guide them properly and to help them to get on the right path, because they are really confused and they're falling for this propaganda completely. And it's very sad. It's kind of scary, you know, when you see these youngsters just absolutely brainwashed. There's no other word for it. I'm sorry.
They're stupefied. That's the word I would use. They've been stupefied. That means they don't even know what's going on. They are so dumbed down that they don't even know they're dumbed down. That's stupefaction. When you're so dumb, you don't even know how dumb you are. They're stupefied. And I hate to be so mean, but I like to use words the way they're meant to be used, like mantra. And I always look for the right word to describe things because that's how I speak. That's why my words are taught like that. They've been stupefied. And the right word has to be used. Let's look them in the eye. Whenever you see anybody you feel like is under mind control, use that mantra for them. Say, are you stupefied? Look in their eye. That is a mantra we all need to pass to our friend. Ask them. Just type it in. Are you stupefied? That word carries the charge that unlocks that key. And tonight, I don't give a fuck anymore what happens to me. Let them do whatever the fuck they want to do. I don't care anymore. Just ask that word for people. And don't believe me, just try. Just say, are you stupefied? If that person has any bit of intelligence, they will wake up. Just use that word like a mantra from now on. Try, don't believe me. Are you stupefied? Because that's the word they don't want people to know. There are words they avoid in the dictionary. But I don't care anymore. It's just, I'm throwing punches now. I don't even care anymore. Let's throw punches. Let's just keep it real. Let's just do the work. Let's be bold. I said it tonight. Release it. I don't even care.
I'm with you, brother, and I'm not afraid to share this kind of stuff, and I'm not afraid to
send this, make this go viral, make it go viral. It's time for this. Let it go viral. It's time viral. To know the truth.
Like I'm sure some people already like just turned it off by now, and who is still watching? Congrats, you made it to level 2.
Hey, this is how we gotta do it. And if you feel like I'm going too far, let me know. If you feel like I'm over, because
you wouldn't be on my channel if there was such a thing as going too far.
Okay, yeah, because it's time. Let's just call a spade, and let people who are really interested in truth come, and those who are not, hey, good luck to them, or let them come for a while at least taste some of this soup, because I feel like people like us, we for too long, for thousands of years, we've been too professional, too gentlemen.
Right.
Gentlemen, and then we get a lot. No, I feel my brand, and I feel like that's your brand too, because we get along so well. My brand is outrageousness. Fucking say it.
Yeah.
Fucking say that shit. Whatever happens, happens. Say it.
Right. I'm gonna have to make this video not for kids when I put the category on the YouTube. It's for the parents. Okay, it's for the parents.
Yeah.
And okay, for just to kind of getting back on the track of this whole subject, for the parents, maybe the first step is like noticing and paying more attention to your kids, you know?
Of course.
Like pay attention to what is going on. Like what's really the problem, as I see it, is they just let them kind of run loose in a way, not in a positive way, in a negative way. They allow them to get stupefied. Okay, so how can we prevent it as adults, as even aunts and uncles, or, you know, not necessarily if it's our own kids? Is there anything we can do? Is there anything we can, you know, do from our side? Maybe besides just throwing out the television out the window.
Yeah, you know, I mean, that's actually the best thing. Just tell everybody get rid of your television, you're liberated, but they're going to think you're crazy. So they might not do it. They won't listen. But that's actually what I would tell everybody. Straight face, dude, throw away your goddamn TV. That has become poison. It's like somebody goes to all American homes and puts some kind of dirt and poison there. That's American TV. It is pure poison. Poison. The worst.
Operation Mockingbird. Look it up. Operation Mockingbird.
That's what they're doing. It's venom. They're biting everybody in their ass, literally, with all their garbage and bullshit.
Let's get deeper into this. Why is it like that? Why is it dangerous? Because I'm sure somebody will be like, maybe you know, if I don't show them certain channels or whatever, like, what is on TV that makes us like into zombies?
Because, okay, for example, look at COVID-19. You can't open your cell phone anywhere you look. COVID-19. It's like bad magic. And it's like they are trying to, it's like poison. They put in it there subliminally. So all you're going to be thinking about in your dreams is COVID. And when somebody starts dreaming about COVID, they're going to catch that shit. These people are negative magicians. And people don't even see people, oh, they're trying to help us. No, they're hypnotizing you with rubbish, garbage. And people are eating that crap. And they believe in all this nonsense. COVID-19, COVID, that shit I doubt whether they can even test it. It's almost arbitrary. It's a joke. It's a joke. If humanity can just fucking wake up, I hope I can speak like this, and stop believing this nonsense, rubbish. COVID-19 garbage, and stop listening to that skinny nerd, Bill Gates, trying to kill people. How can anybody believe this guy? How can, come on, humanity, and I'm not talking about your audience, just speaking the humanity.
No, I totally agree with you. There's a lot of people still believe that he's a humanitarian and he's
the devil in human flesh.
Somebody.
Maybe in human flesh. He's so, I mean, people just have to look into his eyes. People don't look into the eyes anymore. Look in his eyes. See, that's what I do. You can tell by the eyes. His eyes are cold as it gets.
Right.
That glasses, don't let it deceive you. Look behind those glasses. You will see somebody who is so cold, it could kill the whole planet and think, well, that's what is needed. That's how cold he is. That's how he thinks. He thinks in terms of what's needed. And when somebody only thinks in terms of what's needed, that's a demon. Because that means you will do whatever the fuck. It's not only what is needed that you have to think. You also have to say, how would I feel if it's done to me? That's the other question they never ask. These demons. Right. They just say, what do I need to do in this situation? That's demonic system. You also have to wonder, well, how would it feel when I do it? If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. But he has zero of that. Or maybe 2%, maybe if there's any. And these guys, they're cold. We call them thinkers. We call them, the whole money he made in the first place, he stole that shit. People need to just face the fact. He's not that much of a genius. He's just a figurehead.
Right.
If you really read into people like him energetically, like I do, about everybody that interests me, read into his energy, you will see somebody who's not even human. It's basically an android. It's an
Yeah,
android.
I
Bill
can
Gates is
believe
an
that.
android. It's an
And
android being. It's barely human.
it's
That's
amazing.
why,
Yeah, you're right. Go ahead.
no, it's true. I mean, it's an android. You can see the way he walks. Can people see anymore? I'm challenging humans. This is a little intense, but I want to speak a little harder. Like, come on, humanity. Can't you see through stuff anymore? You used to be able to do that, humanity, not your audience, but as a whole. We could see through each other. We were transparent. But then people like him came and they've been trying to fuck shit up. But we can still recognize them by the way they walk, the way they act. The coldness is pure negative reptilian. I'm not saying all reptilians are bad, but there are negative reptilians and they're cold as fuck. He's a cold reptilian and they don't give a damn about anybody. If I'm dying and a cold reptilian like that comes to me and gives me food, I'll be like, no, I'm good. Because they don't know how to love. There's no love. It's just that's what's needed. That's how they think. And that's what we call education today, to go back to the question earlier. We're teaching kids to think like this. It's pure demonic energy. Be practical. Think what you have to do this moment. What would you do? You're not telling them how to know what it feels like after they do what they do. What does it feel like? That's love. And I'm not saying I'm a saint. None of us is perfect, but we have to teach that. And regarding the crystal children, they are born crystallized. That's the thing. And very rarely are they ever like, they tend to stay pretty awake. They just generally are born pretty awake. They may not know it, but they have a level of presence that they just have. And they never lose it. And that's actually how they're able to like teach, become good teachers later on in life. They might be 30, 40, 50, 60 when they start teaching, doesn't matter. But they were always, that's crystal. Indigos lose it. That's part of the difference. Yeah. Indigos can be born like unawake, even though
they dive deep into darkness first.
Sorry?
Typically dive deep into darkness.
Yeah, indigos come, it's a sacrifice.
Navigate.
It's like indigo sacrifice. So that's why I have a lot of love for you guys. It's like you guys are great sacrificers. It's a great sacrifice. It's like you come to earth saying you choose to fall asleep. Nobody does that shit. It's too dangerous. But for somebody to sacrifice that, that's ultimate love. That means you're so full of love. You're willing to risk it. You're a gambler. And that's why people like you, the indigos, I'm like always saying thank you. People should be thanking because it's a big sacrifice. And thank you for your work for the planet. Because they are here to burn karma for the planet. Even though they're blue diamond, that means they're fairly pure themselves. So they take on karma and they burn it so well that pain becomes their fuel for ascension. Now I'm kind of exposing Christus a little bit and indigos a little bit. Can I say that a little? Can I say that?
Keep going.
Okay. So indigos, that's their fuel. That's why they come. They've mastered how to transform pain into bliss. Indigos are very good at it. So they come and they say, oh, they're going to take so much. And when they're incarnate, the universe says, be careful. And they're like, no, look at me, I'm a blue being. How can anything get in the way? I can do this. Universe is saying, be careful, you're going into density. And they're like, no, bring it on. Universe says, okay. And then they take it and they're born. And then they're like, fuck, existence was right. Where Syrians live, where the indigos come from, everything happens so quick. It's moment to moment. That's what presence is, moment to moment.
Boom, boom.
In density, take longer. So they might have said, oh, they might want to have burned, maybe one day you and I can talk about that privately, about your situation. I can look at, if you don't know it yet, I can look for you. So what you chose, but usually is indigos come with pain. They are what's the word? Alchemists. Master alchemists, indigos. You already know that about yourself. You guys are master. You know how to transform pain into spontaneous enlightenment, spontaneous awakening. Indigos know how to do that. They'll burn so much pain and somehow they're able to hold it. And by holding it, that's what actually liberates them into awakening. But that's why it's a sacrifice. So indigos are, but crystals usually they come, they are more practical. Maybe they're like, you know, existence, if you want me to go there, may I always keep my presence. So I feel like crystals are more practical. They're like,
Yeah,
they make sure they
presence.
have a
I
good
mean,
meal before they came.
crystals, like you said, presence, I think is a key word. You know,
Of
you look
course.
at these kids' eyes, they're like
Yeah, they
totally
come.
clear. They're looking at you, and you're like, whoa,
They're like,
who
no,
is
no,
that? It's like
listen,
a sage sitting there looking at you with full
it's totally
awareness.
that.
And they will
Yes.
really give you that look when you're doing something off. They'll be like, what are you doing?
But they look at you like, are you stupid or what? They, even babies, come on
They
now, don't
have
be so
that.
dumb.
They totally have that.
Yeah, they come here. So I feel like they're very practical and I wish them well. Christicals, y'all smart.
Crystals.
Because I really support what they did because to have come into density is such a big risk. It's like descending to the pits of darkness, knowing not what you're gonna do, but you come with trust. It's like falling into the abyss. That's what it to come to earth. Because this is a school, this is a master school. Everybody comes here for mastery. Earth. That's why when people talk about Earth getting destroyed, I'm like, that would never happen. Because this is the school for existence. Existence will never let it get destroyed. That's why sometimes, even though I make very, be careful, no nuclear war. I'm like, that shit ain't gonna happen. For that to happen, nuclear war, existence will carry it because this is the garden where everybody comes to. The last step is Earth. This is the last step. Even somebody attains like cosmic consciousness, you know, they become one of the cosmic ones, right? And they want to go to the galactic center, they have to come as humans. They have to. This is the place you
It's
learn.
like your galactic master's degree. Or
Yes, this is
PhD.
the place everybody is afraid of. Everybody, nobody wants to come to Earth because this is where you go when you know your shit. Your existence says, "Are you ready for Earth?" Yeah, like they're like, "Not yet." Those of us that are here, that's why I'm like, humanity, come on, let's not be stupid. We are lions. Only the greatest come to Earth. I'm not saying that from ego. It's true. Only the most seasoned souls who have been through the whole of existence, only those dare come to Earth. This is where you have to test everything you've learned in your whole existential history. Now this is the class. So, okay, everything you've learned through your galactic history, the beginning of existence itself, now put it to practice in matter. It's difficult
Yes, and
because it's dense. It's dense.
really deep also, you know what you're saying. And you know, I recently, not recently, like a while ago, I learned somewhere or I heard somewhere that now there is like a galactic passport, so nobody can even incarnate anymore on Earth unless they're like a certain frequency. It's like,
Probably, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know about that, but I wouldn't be surprised.
you know, this, it wasn't a channeling, I believe, like
That
Pleiadians
makes
or
sense.
something, but it makes sense because I
Total
see
sense.
any of these kids, they're like, there's like no evil people being born right now, and only evil ones are like really old already.
They're dying out. They're dying breed. The ones that want to destroy everything, they're old. And
And
I
they're
don't mean
gonna
like
die soon, so it's like, hey, we we still gonna win just because of that.
we already won the battle.
We already won, and I'm
The galaxy has stepped
100%
in.
sure, for sure, the, you know, that boiling point has been reached. And that's why my talk today about this subject is because it's already like we've said enough of what was not working. We've said enough how brainwashed we are and everything that was not, you know, going well in the society. I want to start focusing my talks from now on what we can build, you know, because the new earth is here. It's happening now. We're collectively building it together. And especially talking about, you know, these, the parenting and how you can be a better teacher or better guide for your kids is a good subject to discuss right now, because it's the ultimately is the most important thing actually, because this the future of our earth is in the hands of these children, you
Oh
know.
yeah. I mean the ones that are being born, right? Yeah.
Yes, they're being born and they're like young now, you know, and still, because I still see so much unconsciousness around me, and
Oh,
it's
it's
very
everywhere.
sad. And I'll literally just simple examples like the way that parents force their kids, the tiny little baby, they force them into this either religious rituals or memorizing all this crap that they'll never use.
All religion.
They're breaking them. They're totally breaking them. They don't give them any freedom. And that's why, because we're very sensitive when we're born, and we're like really open, we're very wise, we have that inner wisdom. I can judge for myself, because when I was little, like, I just wanted to run around constantly, and I just wanted to eat an apple, and I didn't want to eat all day. And sometimes I just, like, I had my intuition when to eat, when to sleep. But like, the parents are like, no, you have to sleep at this time, you have to eat this. And I was forced to eat sometimes. I didn't want to eat. But kids, they know you don't need to that much force them into anything. If they're hungry, they'll eat it, And if you keep,
they're intelligent. Unlike adults, the children are intelligent.
Right. We keep imposing, the parents, they're like impose their own beliefs and their own, what they think. It actually is their own ego many times, because there's still all these like unconscious parents that are like just kind of exercising their ego. They want to feel powerful. They want to feel in control. So they just take it out on their kids. So, I mean, wake up, because you guys going to get it the hard way. This child's going to grow up and they're going to turn on you, because this is not.
Yeah, they're very angry.
This is not the right way. So maybe from your perspective, can you give like some tips or advice besides leaving the kid alone? Leave the kid alone for 7 years. What does it even entail? Like, what does it even mean? You can totally leave the child alone. You have to give them love. You have to play with them. You have to
all the necessary
help them,
stuff.
right? Yeah. So any advice, some tips maybe for these young parents? And I'm really asking from my heart. I have a lot of friends who have really young kids, and most of them are pretty conscious parents. Like, they're doing a great job already, just giving a lot of love to these children. But maybe just some reminders, what to teach, what would be more appropriate, and versus like the stereotype, like, because there are these stereotypes, like we think we should do something, but it's like a bunch of lies, so maybe you can speak a little bit on that.
Absolutely. Thank you. Good question. Well, in terms of the details, which is what I think you're asking me, details of raising children from age 0 to 7. Basically, that's like the essence of your question to some extent, right?
Right.
And I would say from the beginning, when the baby is born, in my view, the parent, first of all, I would tell the mother, cut that cord, cut it. And I don't mean the physical cord. I would say cut that cord, because that's why some people in spiritual circle, they say don't make babies, because it gets in the way. Because for most people, when they make babies, they lose energy. So the baby keeps growing up and they just dissipate till they die. Boom. The child basically suck the parents dry and then they thrive. So I would tell the mother, I would say, look in the eyes of your child and tell your child, I have brought you into this world. If people want to write this down, write it down. I've brought you into this world, and the father could say that too. But I have done my part now. You get your grace and energy from existence from now on. Tell the baby, because it's like now you are being present with the baby, and the baby is still present. They're still awake. They will hear you. They'll be like, oh, so you're saying, this is their spirit saying this. I'm just talking as a mystic now. The spirit will be like, oh, good. Thank you for reminding me. Because when I came here, I was warned that I could fall asleep. Now I will not fall asleep. That's what the mother should have done to the baby. It to make the baby present, they will never fall asleep. But that's high. That means the mother has to be very awake or enlightened, and the parents to be able to have that kind of presence with the child and say, look, and have that conversation. Most females don't have that, so maybe that won't happen a lot. But then the second step is when they are at the age of maybe 2 or 3, maybe about 3, 4 years old, 2, 3, 4 years old, I will say, take them into the jungle one day. Take them into the jungle. Just walk with them. And as you're going into the jungle or whatever, just point at anything. Don't label them. If you see a flower, just point at it. Whatever you want the child to be present with you, just point to it. Just do that maybe once a week, once a year. Just do that with the child, 2 or 3 years old. What you're teaching your child, and people don't believe me, just do this. I'm speaking as a mystic. that child would respect you because what you have done is actually part of what they came to learn. But they don't get good teachers. So that's why babies they start falling unconscious. If you do that to a child and you just point without saying any word, the child will know that you actually are family. The child will trust you because now it's like you're teaching the child to look at anything without labeling it.
Right.
You're focusing their attention because normally they are present like this, but you're focusing their attention. You're saying that without any word. So the baby now can start functioning. Wait, what are you going to say?
No, I said right.
Yeah, the baby will be, so those are the education. Honestly, this sounds very crazy, but they're true. The baby will be able to look at, see, most humans, they lose that ability. They see somebody, they can't even see that person. The first thing is, Julia, before they see you, they already call it. That's part of the curse of humanity, the Adamic curse. That's the Adamic curse. Too much thinking, addiction. The real sequence in existence is see that person first. Then later say, oh, that's what I call her. See, that's the difference. Energetically, you have to have that. I have that. Everything that I love, I am with, that's my relating to them. Whenever I see anybody, I touch anything, I touch it first. And I'm like, oh, but that's what I call it. You see, that's like, oh, afterthought. Now you can function still from presence, but most humans, they're saying this is his name. So it's like that name is more important than what you're pointing to. That's what we've done to ourselves. The idea has become more important than what we're pointing to. So that's why I'm not against logic. So logic should be taught, but it should be taught just the way I just explained it. Just pointing. By the age of around 6 or 7, again, you have to make sure they don't die, you know, if they went across the road, pull them back. I'm not saying don't do all that stuff. I'm talking in terms of education. Around 6 or 7, then when you look at the child and say this to the baby or the child energetically, look in their eye because they're still present. 6-year-olds are still present in varying degrees, depending on the child. Just look them deep in the eye long enough, they'll get it. At first, they might want to play, make jokes, you know, be silly, but keep looking, be present with them. And then they'll relax. They'll look at you because they still know what it is to be with somebody. They haven't totally forgotten. 7 is when people forget. Then they become just a mind. They become dangerous, weaponized. So 6, and then say, I have to take you to school. Don't believe anything you learn there. I would tell my child that. Don't believe anything you learn there. Just take the ideas as hypothesis. That's what science really is. It's true education. Whatever I hear from anybody is always hypothesis until I experience it. So just tell the child, don't believe anything you're taught. Take everything you hear, even if it's like fact from CNN, whatever. And that's what I notice in people today. They've lost their beautiful childlike intelligence. Every 6-year-old still has this. If you just say it, that whatever you learn from now on, because so that you can function. I want you to have fun. So you need to make some money, make you more practical. So I'm going to take you there. But whatever you learn there, never believe a word. I don't care how much regalia they have. Always say, show me. That is education. Science means show me. People think science is just about some guy with a lab. And if you have in your nature ability to say, show me, you're a scientist. You're asking questions. That's education. Yeah. So 6-year-olds, make the child a rebel by 6. But most parents don't want to do that because you're creating a very dangerous person. But that being will become awake. I can almost guarantee by 21, almost guarantee it, that kind of child. And somebody who's awake is dangerous. What I mean by dangerous, right? You're unstoppable. Nothing can stop you. Nobody. You are saying, I'm willing to die to be myself. That's what every awake being is saying. Kill me. Otherwise, I would not, if it doesn't go according to my nature, I won't do it. That's awakening. That's a dangerous person. Society is afraid of it.
Right. And that's why the whole society needs to change because
absolutely.
I can imagine this kid come in the class and he'll be like, why? Prove me. Like, this is just a theory.
All day long. You can't be here. Because they won't allow such a child in the school. They won't. You have to homeschool them, maybe, or some kind of special school where they can be. So that's a rebel. Everything you say, but why? Show me. Imagine all humans being like that. Mask on? No, why? Show me. I don't care if you're Fauci. Show me. Give me the proof. And
Right.
over again, prove it to me. Why? Before you put on the mask, ask 1,000 questions. They'll forget about it. They'll be like, forget about that plan. So they don't want questions.
Right.
I ask so much questions that they go, okay, forget about it. Because now they can't answer those questions. They can't. We just don't call them on their bullshit. If humans had more logic, no, more, give me. But why? No, show me. They'll forget about this. Let's give them what they want because they're going to get exhausted. But the first thing they say, okay, sir.
Right. And wow, this is
they bought
horrible.
it.
I mean, I'm just blessed that I didn't grow up in this kind of environment where I was literally, I wasn't forced to say yes, sir, at school.
Good for you. Yeah, it destroys intelligence.
Some schools, oh my God, you see, like in India even, and they beat the kids with sticks in class. And man, there's a lot of stuff that needs to change drastically from inside out. And this starts with the family unit. I believe it starts with the parents, and it will affect the community, because if all the parents get together and they say, no, you have to teach our kids differently, let's change this, let's do this stuff, we have to get mindful, we have to get conscious first. Absolutely. Before we impose something on the kids. It's very scary, it's very dangerous, and the kind of children that grow up in the kind of adults that they become, it's absolutely terrifying. They either brainwash puppets that don't know any better, that don't know how to think for themselves, they're always looking up to authorities for information and for what I should do, or they just completely lost because they feel that dissonance, they feel that they're not living the life that they want to live, something is unnatural but they can't figure out what it is, or they become religious fanatics. They all go off track, they all do.
Go crazy, literally go crazy.
So it's very dangerous, and thank you for sharing these tips. Actually, it's very cool. I love how you gave the example of going into jungle and just like being there, pointing at stuff, and maybe not like putting too much fear on the child, like, oh my God, stay with me, don't go away. Just kind of let them run around a little bit, let them free, go into the beach and let them do what they want, not controlling them.
They're wild. Children are like animals. They're literally animals. They're wild. Exploring. And they should be. It's beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful. But we are too eager to civilize them so that we can control them. Remember, the Jesuits used to say, give me a child, and I'm paraphrasing, from age 1 to 7, and I can predict to you what kind of a man he will be. Because if you capture it, because that's the word really, which we're calling so-called education, is capture. We capture them. A baby, they don't care about any ideas. They just want to be like an animal, and you're introducing them. So you get captured. And once the soul gets captured, you have destroyed that soul, because that soul now is going to try to conform to your straitjacket. That's what we call humanity. It's a straitjacket, madness, like it's mad suit. You tighten the soul in there. That's what we've done to humanity. So if you leave a child alone, it's like let them breathe. Right. By the time they start going to school, 7 and 8, they will be a pain in the ass. And pain in the ass is their blessings. The planet Earth. Maybe I should say, it's a little sexist, whatever that might be. But you know what I mean? Like pain in the neck, I should say. Pain in the neck. So they are everything, nothing they were allowed to pass. Whatever, but why? But tell me, show me. And then they'll be like, get rid of this kid, get rid of this kid.
And that's so, it's amazing what you said. Like, I feel like these classes, these schools of the future will be more like experimental.
Oh yeah, allow it.
Kind. I've had this dream from years ago. I lived in Vegas. It was like a really dark time, but I started to have my own awakenings, and I started having a dream to open up like a center where kids can go and learn about crystals and like telepathy.
Do it.
It's still in my mind. I mean, it's coming together. Everything at that time, obviously, I wasn't ready to do anything in the materially, but I had manifested a lot in my mind. Like I had a whole vision. I realized like instead of teachers, we'll have like traditional teachers that just like feed you information. We can have like, psychologists and psychiatrists. They can decide and test children, like not test, but like figure out what they love more, what their talents are, and help them to express themselves creatively. It's like if you're, you know, and we have our predispositions from beginning. Like some kids, you know, just born and they already like start painting at the age of 2 and they become amazing artists because we had
Of
that in
course,
the past
they
lives,
remember. They
right? So
remember. That's what,
we have our own ways already, like our kind of inclinations, what we like, what we prefer. So encouraging this creativity from early age, not beating it down, because look what's happening now. It's like, have you done your homework? No, mom, I'm just like playing my piano or whatever
the
music, I'm
child, you're
creating
destroying the
something, I'm
child.
painting.
It's so
No,
painful.
stop
Yeah,
that, right?
destroying the child, a baby. Sometimes people begin at 2, 3 years old. Like, it's gonna be a doctor. You're destroying that child because they don't give a fuck about words. You have to basically, you have to shove it in. You
Don't
shove it
you
in.
worry,
This,
child. The universe has a plan for you, doctor or engineer. it's a,
and
it's
we
an
think, oh,
Indian
this
joke.
child is gonna be a genius. Yeah. And then they like have a PhD by 12. I'm like, whenever I see pictures of a child that say finish Harvard by 12, I'm like, I feel like I'm gonna cry because that's tragic. That
Yeah.
means that child is so destroyed that they cannot create beauty. It's too young. It's the first 7, 8 years should be like an animal. So not to talk of PhD, by 7 years old, maybe they know about maybe 10, maybe 25, they can kind of make them as illiterate as possible. Honestly, I'm not even joking. This is what you
And
know,
they will talk. They will catch up. They will read.
yeah,
They'll do
no, because in
everything.
fact, they'll be genius. They will learn words faster because now they're
Yes.
ready.
My
They're
God.
ready.
Even now, and think about it, I'm like so old by now. I'm 37, right? And I'm just realizing the more I become like a child, I clear my memory, I clean up my mind, the more I'm able to grasp things and memorize stuff when I need to.
Exactly.
It's like I'm always so sharp these days, and I used to be in like a complete fog for many years. I'd say like more than 20 years of my life. It was just like foggy, you know? And now I am just cleaning, and I just unbelieve everything I believe. It's like I throw away so much garbage from my head
Good.
daily. It's a constant process. It's like a cleansing. And the child, they come in, they're so pure, they're unpolluted, and we have this
Wow.
beautiful, we have a privilege to plant these beautiful seeds in their head, and how they grow these seeds is up to them. Which
Exactly.
plants they want to grow, which talents,
Exactly.
which activities they prefer. Pay attention to what your kid
Natural
prefers.
outgrowth. Yeah.
Like look
The
at them.
acorn.
Somebody is like already musical and want to dance from like just literally once coming out of the womb. Some kids are like already showing their preferences and talents, and
Of
the
course, every
problem
child
is
wants
like
to
we don't
distinguish.
see it, and we force them to something else.
We like shove them. And that's why I chose that word. Like I said, I use word very scientifically. It's shoving. We
Shoving,
shovel.
shove things down their throat.
That's what we do. Yeah. It's the most unloving thing you can do to any being.
Right.
That's why part of why love almost left the planet, almost. But luckily, the planet is now in the love zone. It's already ascended to the, as far as I see, again, like I don't read these things, these are just my own knowing. Some people may disagree, but as far as I can sense it, the earth is not in fifth dimension. Because the love, by the point love almost left because we almost destroyed the whole planet. By teaching this education, it destroys love because love wants to feel. And the first 7 years are about feeling. The child wants to feel what it is to be in the body. And you're not
Right.
allowing that. That's why they're so touchy. They touch it, they feel it. Presence,
Right.
they feel it. Leave him alone. By 21, that child will be a Buddha. If a child can be a Buddha by 21, like awake, fundamentally, that's what I call a Buddha, by 21. By the time they are like 60 or maybe even 70, they would have become totally galactic. They would have become totally
Right.
galactic by 70.
Right.
Maximum 50 years, they would have done it. And for some people, it takes 50 years, but they would have done it. Because from that level that they are, I call the Buddha stage. To me, what I call the Buddha state is a state whereby one is just with what is. That's what I call Buddhahood. Again, I'm from my own experience. About What is next after the Buddha stage is what I call the Christ consciousness stage, which is the state whereby you're not just present, you're not just here, but now you are also blissful. That's the next stage. That's why when people get to that level, they become more blissful. That's Christ. The Christ is bliss. That's Christ. It's a bliss energy. It's like it showers bliss. But before that is the Buddha state. When you're present, that's Buddha. It's present. But the next stage, so that child will just keep expanding. And again, this process can happen within a day or 2 days. One can go from the Buddha state to the galactic. One can happen, it can happen in 2 hours or a year or 2 years. It's not timeful. But I'm just saying that if people can wake up by 21, most humans will just leave the planet. They'll become more galactic beings will be forming. And before you know it, if you were to have maybe like 100 galactic beings on the planet at a time, just 100, that planet can never be the same, because it means 100 souls are bringing in that galactic energy. That is enough to shift any energy. And guess what happened recently? There's at least 100 galactic beings now on planet Earth, at least 100. Again, I'm sharing some things that I can't prove it. I'm just saying as a mystic, 100 are here.
And that's part of why you don't need to prove anything. And yeah, it doesn't resonate.
You're talking about people that are watching, yeah.
Whoever doesn't resonate with any of this, you don't have to watch this. And okay. I noticed that I don't need to prove anything to anyone anymore. Like literally, and it just flows. Whatever I speak from my heart, if I'm tuned in, the information comes through. I don't need to tell people where it came from. If they either get it or not, and that's it.
Thank you.
I think we're like so much beyond that point of proving anything. It's like if you're not tuned in with your own resonance system, with your intuition, then you need to work on that. Because all the stuff you're going to process through the mind, it's going to just take so much time. It's going to hold you back. And it's going to confuse you even more. We're already like way ahead of the mind stuff. The mind is like, can't catch up with anything. Like literally what's going on right now. If I tried to understand everything, I don't know where I would be right now. I just flow.
I'll be mad. I mean, we will be mad. You and I will be mad if you try to understand anything. Because understanding is a slow process, but that's what humanity has been taught as the highest. And I'm like, that's the lowest from my perspective. So understanding means you don't know yet.
Right.
So people are studying, they're reading. Better to become awake and conscious, because with presence, you can look into anything and you'll find it. Whatever you need in the moment will come, will drop on your lap. Whatever you need, it to just drop. So I'm like, that's the best library to be, to be in. Existence is the best library. Whatever you need just drops. I mean, a lot of what I say, I'm not reading this stuff. It just comes, drops, boom, and I just speak it. That very moment, it's just coming. But we all have this ability in us. We just have to trust it and be very, very. So that's part of why I'm telling people, just start dancing. That's why as soon as all this nonsense goes, I'm going to teach more dance classes. I'm already dancing a lot. It's time for humans to dance, because
I've been dancing so much.
The party started. What we see right now, can I speak a little bit about it, what's going on right now? For those who may not believe what I'm saying, they might be like, this guy is in La La Land. Does he watch the news? And I'm telling these people, can I speak to them right now? People like that right now?
Yes, please.
Let me speak to them.
Please.
Look, when something happens on the spiritual plane, it takes time. That's why Earth is 3D. It takes time for it to show, because that's the very nature of this planet. It's a solid planet in some ways. So things take time before they show. So, but on the spiritual plane, those who can see, they can see it. It's already, the battle is over. They lost. They lost. They can't do it. And existence has been telling them for 1,000 years, stop. It's enough. Stop. And existence, these guys are so stubborn. They thought in their own, the brilliance, I have to get, they're brilliant in their so-called evil stuff. But somehow they thought if they sucked enough blood of humans, they thought that they will become immortal. So the human sacrifices, the baby thing, they are the ones behind it. These astral beings, I'm exposing them. I don't give a damn anymore, because they can't touch me. I'm not trying to be egotistical. It's a fact. I know I'm protected. They can't touch me. They've lost, and they better recognize it sooner than later. They have to recognize it. When somebody loses a battle, you give up. That's just the way it is. But they think they can still wiggle out of the what? No, it's over. The planet is now in the fifth dimension, literally in the fifth. It's now in the house of love. So that all that magic they're doing, all this praying and shit, that shit is collapsing. That's why they had to come up with this COVID bullshit. It was their last attempt, last hurrah. Say, if we can pretend that's something that they can catch, if we can lie enough, they will fall for us. And the Galaxy said it's not going to work. They're like, at least give us, let's try it. Existence said, okay, try it. And now they seeing it, that shit ain't working. That's why they have to come up with all these numbers. They're desperate. They see it lost. So those who don't believe me, don't believe anything. I don't like people believing me. I'm just saying, just be creative, dance, make love, have fun, try to be alive for the next maybe 2 to 3 years. You will see what I'm saying. 2 3 years, you will see that suddenly the earth is more prosperous. The earth, it starts evolving in the direction it was always meant to be since eternity. Now it's happened. Now you're going to see more and more of it manifesting. People just, you doing your work, you're going to reach many people. Maybe this will go viral. I don't know. Maybe people will think we're crazy. But let's bring this out more and more because people are ready to hear the truth now. Once a planet enters the fifth dimension, people get ready for truth. Because truth is not intellect. People think truth is intellect. No. Truth is love. Only love can speak truth. He or she who doesn't have love can never speak the truth. They might give you the facts, but they can't speak the truth. Truth needs love behind it. So these beings of love, this is happening now. So game over. People just get ready to have a good time on the planet. We did our part. All of us together.
We've been celebrating. I don't know for how long. I think I've been celebrating since.
Good for you. Dance. Years. Have fun. If you have a partner, make love. Please have fun. Whatever. Enjoy yourself. Because this is what the earth is asking for us now. The earth. This is a place to celebrate.
And you're so right. And thank you for this positive, message. Also, we need that reminder because there is still fear out there, and from my perspective, also my 5 cents here, stop feeding your kids fear, stop feeding your kids propaganda, turn off the damn television. Even the cartoons you see, they're full of bullshit. Even everything they're showing on the TV is absolutely mind controlling, and it's full of propaganda. So just take them out to nature, go with them somewhere, ride a bike with them, do something where they can be alive, teach them how to be alive.
Go to nature and just point at things. Yeah, just point to it. Don't even say anything, just point to the plants. Just keep pointing.
Let them lead you. Let them take you somewhere. Like take them out to nature and tell them, okay, where you want to go? Let's go somewhere, because they have that inner wisdom. They have that connection that we lose later on. So let them keep that connection. That's all you have to do. There's like no pressure. Love gift to a child.
Yes, thank you. That's the best love gift to a child. What you're saying, that's the best love gift. Let them be themselves.
Yes, and I'm just smiling because I know some of these babies, they're growing up and they have amazing parents. So thank you to all my friends who are being amazing parents for their kids. And I hope this video will also be kind of like a reminder that you're doing everything right, that you'll be okay. They will turn out great. They will turn out great. Like if you just leave them alone, you don't need to think like, am I not doing enough? I'm not teaching them enough, or they should be reading by this age or doing math, but by that age, it's all a bunch of crap. It doesn't mean anything.
They will read. These days.
They will do all of that.
Oh, the pressure. I mean, you're right. The pressure, right? That's what I'm agreeing with you. The pressure of being a parent. It's like, it's a miracle. When I watch parents sometimes, I'm just like, my goodness, what a sacrifice, because it's become very difficult. Because ordinarily, my view, this is my view, and correct me if you don't agree, but this is my view. I feel like humans belong in groups. The idea of mother and father and a child, I feel like is so stupid. And forgive me for saying that. It's too small. It's too much pressure. So you know what I tell people? Everybody's worried about having a nuclear war. I'm saying, what do you think would happen in a world based on nuclear family? What do you think the end will be? Nuclear war. Because it's too small. It creates people that are very small-minded. That's part of what I see happening in the world. It's too small. It makes people feel like us, that this unit only, fuck everybody else. But if people are raised more in communities, in my view, if you watch Osho's ashram, community-minded people, if children born in there, they're more a sharer because they've met different people, they've learned how to share. But if it's just me, your father, and the child, or maybe your wife, it creates people that there's us against them, and that's where patriarchy likes it. I would say the minimum is extended family, the minimum extended family, the grandparent, the father, as long as they're not interfering in freedom, maybe like a big compound, whatever, they can have their own houses, but some kind of affinity, maybe like a block away, something. Otherwise, it creates very selfish children, selfish. Me, us, this apartment, but I would say raise people, communities, communes or extended family, introduce your child to the grandma, to the grandparents. It makes them bigger minded. Say, oh, okay, give grandma a gift, whatever. Oh, okay. Then a child learns to expand their limits. Otherwise, that child, if all he or she sees is mother and father, he will start thinking subconsciously, and maybe people can relate. He will start thinking that, oh, that means this is their premature mind. They can't think clearly. They'll say, oh, this planet is lacking. That's what they're gonna think subconsciously. This is a lacking planet. Oh, that means I have to be stingy about everything.
Right.
That's what what they're doing. They're like, I have to be
right.
I can't share. I can't share this woman. I can't share this man. The possessiveness begins. That's what the possessiveness begins about people. Like, no, I can't share. You are mine, whatever. It's because it's so small. Whereas, oh, grandma is coming to share the battle. Oh, so that means I have to, grandma's going to use that space, or my auntie, my uncle. It makes you bigger minded to share. So this is part of what I see as a mistake that society is often missing. Like this social, and I'm happy what's happening right now, I'm happy it's happening. It is shaking people so much. They're getting scared and they're forming communities now. People are beginning to realize they can't do it alone. Part of the lesson from the whole COVID existential is people are being woken up to the fact that we have to work together.
Yes, totally.
Before people thought I just have to work hard, go to work and save for my family. It was all me and my family. That's selfish. Selfish.
It creates
but now
separation.
People are being, sorry?
Sure. Creates separation.
Separation. Me and my family only. We go. We work hard. You guys are lazy. I don't want to pay for you. Why should I be paying for you? It's all that selfish, that me and my family against yours. But supposed to, wow, we're in this together. How can we make this more of a beautiful planet? It becomes us against them. So for me, I would say the very foundation of society has to shift. I don't want to call it communism because that has been used as like a devil stuff to destroy people and force them. But like a commune system where commune to me is a beautiful word, commune. Commune means somebody whose heart is open. Only somebody whose heart is open can be in a commune because you have to share things. So in any commune, it could be of it's a commune, love is there. Oh, we're going to share, good. Otherwise, the minimum I would say should be, if I was to give numbers just to be more practical, is I would say at least a child should be introduced to at least 105 people, 105 at least. As early as possible, at least 105 at least. Yeah, because what it does is it expands the child's mind, saying, wow, because the child is new, they're learning. They're like, oh, okay, so there's a lot of people that love me. Oh, good, I don't have to be stingy. Oh, they all love me, and I love them all. But if it's small, we love ourselves. We have to be, you see, get my point? It's so, but these guys, that's what they've done. Another thing that they've done, I'm going to mention right now, and I'm going to shut up before you ask another question, but I feel like I should say it. Please, can I say this, please?
Please.
Am I going too far?
No, you're on the track.
Also, one of the ways they destroy it, since education is key, I would say let us stop. Please, tell your friends, if you're listening to this, don't teach that bullshit science, excuse my French, that the spermatozoa, you know that story they tell us millions swim towards the egg and only one gets in? Remember that story?
Yeah.
It is nonsense. Absolute rubbish. It's part of their dark magic. Part of their, let me explain it. Okay, can I explain that?
Yes, please.
You see, that's subliminal programming. People don't understand it. That's why all over the world, that's what they teach. What you're telling a child, if you teach that crap to, is you have to outnumber everybody. You have to compete. You have to struggle. That's what you're teaching. The truth is all the sperm gets there. They all get there. I'm speaking as a mystic. I've seen it. I know this. They all contribute to the beauty being born. But they don't teach this truth. They teach the bullshit that only one gets in. That's subliminal. People don't understand it. Once you teach a child that, you fucked up the child. Now they're going to start thinking, I have to resist life because I have to be the only one that gets in. That winner takes all mentality. No, say the whole thing. Teach your children this truth. Don't believe me. Feel the truth of what I'm saying. Anything I'm saying, don't believe anything. Just feel it because I'm speaking this from my own soul. This is my soul singing. Feel it. If it doesn't feel right, throw it out. Feel this. This is a truth I'm sharing with you out of love with humanity. Please. This is a truth. Don't believe that crap. We have to expose their game. Part of why I was born. I want to expose the whole fucking thing.
Yes.
Whatever happens to me, it happens. I don't care. I want to at least be part of it. Let's start teaching our children that thing is bullshit. It's not true. The whole energy flowing towards the one. That womb is the one existence. That is what they're teaching people. They destroy people's spirit. It's negative magic. That womb is existence. So we all get there. That's the truth. We all get there. The demons are feeling that they need to push others down to get in there. That's what they're thinking. They're in scarcity. The truth of education, teach one another, is tell every child saying, wow, if you want to introduce that idea when they're 6 or 7, tell them the truth. The whole thing gets in. So don't worry. Just take your time. Be yourself. Don't be in a rush. Be yourself. That kind of child will be so relaxed that meditation will come natural for them. Honestly, don't believe what I'm saying. Try. If you have a 6-year-old, say this truth to them. I'm a scientist of the inner world. Just say and see what happens. She will start shining, but they'll feel like, oh, really? Yeah. Now they have permission.
And trusting the existence that whatever is meant to be will be. It will come to you. You don't need to chase after it. You don't need to fight. You don't need to compete with anyone.
And mean. Yeah, mean and just, I'm going to kill everybody. That mentality is so strange, but it's born. The moment that's stupid, I can't even call it logic, that you have to be the survivor of the fittest. All that shit is nonsense. Even evolution is BS. Right. The same people that are behind that are the ones teaching that spermatozoa theory. It's all about scarcity for them. Scarcity. You have to repress other people to get what you want. You have to. They believe that stuff. They know that's what makes them demonic. They really actually think that's the truth because they're caught up in lack. If they can only wake up more spiritually, they will see what they're doing is not right. The more you suppress other people, it impedes you on your journey. Best thing. Why do you think I'm teaching? It's like when you share these things, it's like you're blessing yourself. And everybody's also being blessed. You're sharing. Wow, you're helping people. Yes, your work, this broadcast, we're doing beautiful work. The more people, wow, it creates more light on the planet.
Right. No, for sure, this scarcity, this lack mentality has been really predominant in our education system and in our own beliefs that we're only like unwinding now. And it's really funny actually now just to even sometimes people like will tell me, oh, you should copyright some of that stuff, or you should like put the watermark on all your art. And I'm like, no, I don't.
I'm in abundance. Whatever I need comes to me.
I share. I don't care. You want to copy it, copy it. It doesn't take away from me. It doesn't make me less abundant because somebody's going to share something without like putting my name on it. Like I really couldn't care less.
But you're in abundance, my sister. You are. See, people don't understand what abundance is. Can we talk a little bit about abundance?
Yes. This is a big part. You know, I'm really good with touching upon these subjects a little bit.
Hey,
and before you get, I wanted to just real quick, I just mentioned, like, before you get into this abundance, because this is a really good one, and maybe we'll culminate like our meeting today with this subject, but we will probably get a little deeper in it because it's a part of education. What we have to, what we teach our kids now, it's program while they're little, while they're under even 7 years old, is programming them for life. If you teach them lack, if you teach them competition, aggression, and that you have to fight for, you know, something, it will program, and they will be that person who's always fighting in life, who's struggling to survive, and
Exactly.
who is never actually experiencing that prosperity. And maybe later in life they will hate you for it, because they will wake up and they will say, hold on, everything I've been taught is a bunch of crap, so how do I change that? So instead of them using like half of their life to change their beliefs, let's program them with the correct beliefs. I mean, at least not program them, but like offer them the realness. And that will teach them in itself. It's like it's very important to know about these things. And
Absolutely.
maybe, and when we finish this video, when I post it, I will encourage you guys, if you got interested, if you have questions, I'm sure everybody's like having so many questions now for you. So why don't you guys post your questions either in the comments of the video, or you can write to us specifically. I'll put both Oluwa and my own Facebook and Oluwa's email and other contact information under the video. So if you have questions that you want us to get deeper into, maybe we'll make a sequel for this and make like another video getting a little bit deeper into some of these things, because we really just touched upon some things, but we didn't get too deep into anything. But this is very eye-opening already. And if you can go ahead and with the subject of abundance, can you, you know, I mean, sorry, I kind of interrupted you again, but
No, no,
like
no.
just kind of
No, no.
giving
I
like
love
a
it. I
little
love when you
framework.
talk because I also wanted to share. No, I love it. I'm just listening. Yeah, totally. Yeah, no, thank you because it helps me. Yeah, 'cause I could talk about this things for like hours and days, you know, because there's so much, so much, so
And I love
much.
your passion. I love your passion about it. You're the one of the realest ones that I know. I can listen to you for hours. It never gets boring. It never, even for a second, it gets boring. Even if you reiterate some things, like you say certain things, but differently every time, it just sinks in deeper and deeper. And it's definitely educating, and it's definitely like a must listen to everyone, actually. And who is a parent, especially, I hope like some people will get like at least something, you know, maybe not everything out of this video, but keep keep educating us. And we still have a little time, so let's go for it, and let's talk about the subject, you know, of abundance, since you
Abundance.
started it.
Mm. Abundance is one of my favorite topics, in fact, to talk about because I actually struggled with it for years. I couldn't put my finger on it. And I did many businesses. I was like, how come I wasn't making money for these things? And for me, I was like, what is going on? I mean, I like money and I feel like I'm pretty likable and I'm doing these businesses and I'm like, how come I wasn't succeeding? Then I began to realize something, which is why I want to begin this topic. Because I like speak, I only speak from experience. Otherwise, to me, that's teaching, okay? So for me, I began to realize that what was the thing holding me back? People be like, but you're so charming. How come you're not making money from this? I'm like, I don't know. But it got revealed to me. I was like, my wound. You see, those kind of principles they are uniquely father wounds. And I don't mean to be sexist, but this is just a truth from the way my own experience. They're father wounds. Because somehow you have made a mistake. It's just a mistake. People call it sin. I call it a mistake. You feel that you need to work hard to earn a buck. That thing, I know that negative magic that they've taught people. These guys are negative magicians. They make it look like, you know, like they're just playing, you know, like a white slogan. They are using mantras, negative mantras on people. If you ever say to yourself, money doesn't go on trees, you know, I got to work hard to make a buck, you know, all those thoughts, that's how they hold people down. Otherwise, that's how they hold the currency from flowing. Currency wants to flow. Wealth, naturally, is a currency. The way they hold it back is, you see, these guys are, and I'm going to expose every fucking thing before I leave this body. What they're doing is they're making you hate yourself. You're thinking negative. That negative thought pattern will keep that currency from reaching you. And they'll keep using the right magic. They'll do these rituals, elaborate. they will attract more to themselves. These guys are negative magicians. They know what I'm talking about. They're sorcerers. They pull it to themselves away from everybody else, but the way they do it is very subtle. They use subconscious programming. So anyway, what I began to realize, again, I'm speaking as a mystic, is that I was like, I need to heal this. This is holding me back. Because suddenly I realized it was a karma I had chosen in this lifetime to help resolve for humanity. So I had this father who, even though very rich, that's the story I chose, right? Very rich father, but he's afraid of, doesn't have the abundance principle working in him. So of course, that's why I was telling people that no amount of money makes somebody abundant. Abundance is a feeling. It's a feeling, it's a state of being. It's not something you do. If you have this feeling of abundance, whatever you need it has to come to you. And if you need $1 billion, somehow something will happen to bring it to you because you are in alignment. The universe says that person can be trusted. Let's use him or her for that particular project. It will flow through whatever you need. You just be like, okay. Suddenly you move to a city, somehow somebody will just put you for housing and say, by the way, I want to sell that room. And whatever, something will just flow. Somehow you might find yourself $1 million. It doesn't matter. It just has abundance. And if you are like the type that is a monk and all you need is a food a day, existence will make sure you get that food. That's abundance. That's why one can relax, finally. You can just be like Dionysus on the beach and just sit there because you know that I will be taking care. People are like, whoa, you're encouraging people to be lazy. I'm like, laziness is not, it doesn't exist. Now, I make bold statements because that's how I speak. Laziness from my perspective does not fucking exist. Well, what I see when I see so-called lazy people who are frustrated. They say, this is my gift. People are saying, no, do that. They're like, okay, fuck you. And they just say, okay, I'm not going to do anything. Or they'll do something that you said, but they'll keep fucking it up because they don't really want it.
Right.
So that's the kind of humanity that needs to be raised now, whereby people feel very good. They feel abundant. And with abundance, people will share because it's a feeling. Somebody needs something, just share it because you feel abundant. It's a feeling. So a lot of these people that people call Illuminati, they're in some serious lack. Otherwise, why do they have the Federal fucking Reserve? Can I speak a little about that? Federal Reserve is not federal at all, right? It's a bunch of international bankers meeting in secret offices and they print all the money and control the whole planet. So abundance for you and me, for all of us, is develop that feeling. How do you develop it? Can I speak a little bit about how to get the feeling of abundance?
Yes, I also think we can make like a whole another video on this subject. So maybe you can finish your thoughts right now, and because I have another question before we really complete this. It's coming up to 1.5 hours, and but it's been amazing. Like time flies when I talk with you, but I also think about like my bandwidth and how much I'm gonna upload today. So I don't know if I have enough data. No, really, I have abundance of data.
Abundance everywhere. Abundance, it's a feeling, and you have that feeling. That's why you don't worry about money. Somehow money finds you. Whatever you need, it's a feeling. That feeling is pure magnet. People don't know what magnet is.
Deep. We're definitely making a whole nother video about this, just how to change our mind from the belief in lack to the belief in abundance. And
in an instant, because it doesn't even take a lot of time. You see, I like fasting because we're Americans, we're Westerners, all of us, the whole world, we want things fast. All it needs is just for you to be open and present. Just every time you're present, every time you open, you are erasing that record. That's why they don't want people to meditate or be present. You are erasing anything that's painful is being erased. Presence is practical. People say, is it practical? It's fuck yeah. But the only thing most teachers say don't teach that is because people will start looking for that and then they won't be present.
Practical presence. Okay, there's another one. Okay, I have so many ideas, but we'll go one by one, slowly getting into this stuff. You just dropped so many truth bombs and so many food for thought to people. Then I'm sure somebody will be sitting like
all this before I leave. So I have so much to say. So that's why I'm like, anybody that wants, there's so much to say. I came to tell stories, and I want to tell as much as possible, say and review, and then I can say, okay, my work is done.
You're so good at it.
Needs to hear these things.
And I'm gonna help you. I'm helping you by just kind of
whatever you can
down
do,
and say, wait. a little more into this because we need to hear about all of this, and we have infinite resources to share this
Absolutely.
information. And I'm so happy that more people are being more open for it now. Like, you know, let's see which kind of feedback we'll get from this video. I don't think it will be that much angry because everything just makes sense, and everything you're saying, if like I tune it from my heart, it
Exactly.
resonates, and I
That's
don't
what
need the
that's what
mind stuff to think about or question it. Because and if you are a kind of person that uses the mind and the logic, go and do your research. I always say that, just go ahead and look stuff up. Look at this whole control agenda. This whole education system has been designed in such a way to keep us enslaved. They want a slave nation. They don't want us to be free. They don't
slave.
want
No,
us
they
to
want
be
machines.
liberated.
They
What?
want machines, not just slaves.
Yeah, robots. They don't
They
want
want
us to be
machines.
liberated. They want you to be doctors and engineers. They want you to just memorize stuff and then just input, output, you know?
Yeah.
Go to work, come home, watch TV, eat your hamburgers, and again go to work in the morning. And that's it. That's all they
Machine.
want you
Yeah.
to do. So step out of this circle. And I say now, wake up or die. This is the time. We're living in this kind of time. I'm sorry to say it so
I mean, not because
drastically.
she's threatened. She's not threatened. She's a beautiful, lovely woman. She's not going to do that. But what I mean, to me, that actually is not too far from truth, because what it is the frequency is higher now on Earth. Earth has ascended. When a planet ascends into love, it means it's like a woman dating. She'll be dating losers. Suddenly she's like dating. Now she's saying, if you don't have love, get off. That's what I mean, get off. That means that person might get sick, they
Get
might get
off.
depressed,
Right.
because she wants love frequency now.
Yes.
Love frequencies, our ethics, whatever you want to call it, has a reason to love at least. Love at least. Beyond is better, but not better, but good. But love at least. Otherwise, so what you're saying, and there's truth to it, that's why I tell people, please, whatever you do, be present, be in your heart, dance, make love, whatever it is that gives you juice, whatever makes your heart open, go for it. That's your meditation. Do it. Because at this time, those practices, part of why I want to teach and travel, I'm teaching more tantra, all kinds of classes, is because people can celebrate now through all the celebratory practices. Now they're going to be available on planet Earth. They were banned for so long because these people that control the Earth, they hide all those fun parts. They hide it because they know people will be having fun. They'll be too intelligent. So they give them difficult paths so that people that are like, want to be spiritual, they'll be like, oh, that's what it is about. They won't do it. That's what they do. They hide the easy techniques, the
Yeah.
fast path. They give people very difficult to make it look like, oh, spirituality is for people that are so champion. I'm like, no, all these techniques for the average man, do it. Everybody's meant to wake up. It's nothing special.
Yes,
So
totally.
abundance, just a minute about that, is just a feeling. So get that feeling, meditate, pray, dance, make love, get your heart open, literally. If one's whose heart is open is in a feeling of abundance. And that's why they call it sometimes Lakshmi, or the goddess
Right.
of wealth. It's love. It is that feeling. It just
Yes.
pulls. Doesn't mean you're going to be very wealthy, multimillionaire, unless that's your destiny. But at least whatever you need will come to you. Whatever it is, every moment will just appear. You'll be like, what happened? Am I not practicing magic? No, no magic, no magic. It's just now you're in the flow, and existence, it gets to you. Everything just flows. You're in the flow.
And you know, I also feel like the money and everything, all the resources will come to you if you are channelizing it in the right way. It's not gonna come to you if you're just like a hoarder and you want to just like stack some money for maybe
Gonna
for
be
later,
billionaire.
you know. That's how I feel. And this is the new earth. It's fluid, it's ever changing, it's not stagnant. Nothing is stagnating. Think of energy, think of movement. You get paid, you can spend money. You don't need to like save it too much, you know? Like I never saved money, and I've been more than abundant most of my life when I
Of
woke up
course.
to this. When I woke up to this truth. Like my whole story of awakening started with me taking responsibility and also manifesting that material prosperity in my life by just changing my beliefs. So we're definitely getting deeper into that on our next talk. And for now, let's finalize something, because we really talked about, you know, we started with the conscious parenting, so let's end on this note as well, and maybe you can add something more in that regard, like anything that comes to you at the moment, any advice for the new parents, for someone who wants to, you know, do it well, do it right.
Stress out by the manual, right?
The
They give
manual,
everybody the
pull
manual.
it out. I mean, you gave some good tips already, and I really love just these examples, like how to be present with your child and all these things. So maybe any of similar things, like any ideas how we can be more playful with the kids, or anything, just whatever comes to you, or any kind of a message for the to finalize this talk today.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, thank you for, for your presence, for your story, and for being who you are. You're appreciated. Thank you, my dear sister. Love you. You're amazing. Keep shining your light. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise, because those haters, they just jealous. And when people are jealous, they speak shit about you. So don't listen to them. Keep shining. Keep speaking truth and power. And keep being yourself. This is the time for people like you and I, people that are ready to speak truth. So keep doing it. You are protected. Don't worry about all those fools.
And
You
so
are
are
protected.
you. You're doing such a great job, and everything you're doing, you're sharing from the heart, and it shows. You know, it totally shows. And before we even finalize, I don't know if you got my question. Like I said, do you
Yeah,
have any other
I did
tips,
actually. I
like,
wanted to say
to before we really
yeah,
stop this?
yeah. I mean, what parents can do, ideas, and that was your question. What they can do in terms of raising a child to raise a genius. Like, and to me, a genius is somebody who's real and authentic and knows his or her gifts. That's a genius, and everybody's a genius. That means you can bring it out. You just have to bring it out. You already have it. So I would say again, your question, I'm going to title it "The Science or Art of Raising a Child," but depending on the parent. Some people are more what I would call masculine, very left brain. They're going to like the science. Some people are more feminine. They're going to like the art of it. Either way, it's going to raise a very bright being, a being that can keep itself open and experience awakening at 21, if possible, because that means they never got tainted. Another 18 years of cleaning. So one of the key ways that I would suggest is whenever you have your child, the first thing, like I said earlier, talk to them, say that you're not going to keep feeding them energy anymore. Because that to me is the best thing. If you can do that, you've done the highest. Because you've challenged that soul as soon as they come. That means that soul now is very alert. You remind it. You're like, remember who you are. I am not here to feed you my own energy. You make your own connection. That's very soul immediately we just their being will just, I mean, literally, to some extent, will wake up to some extent. We just wake up. Oh, that means that will be their minimum. They will never fall beneath that because it's like you said, you've challenged them and now they're in that state. Now they're going to have some confidence because he or she who remembers himself will be very confident because you know yourself, you're an eternal being. So if you can do this, best. If you can't challenge them and say, look, this is me, they at least when they're about maybe around 4, 5, especially 4 or 5, I would say by 4, if possible. But if the child is not as, some are faster, whatever, I would say by 5. You need to have a conversation with your child. I would say by 5. And say, just, it's like a confession to your child. Just confess. Again, this might be difficult for some parents to do, but 5, confess to your child and say, look, I don't know everything. Just say it because he or she is still present. If you can do this to a child, I'm not joking, that child would love you to death because you are giving him or her the best gift ever. You can't forgive people that impact your soul on such level. You can't. They're truly unforgettable. You're like, wow, thank you. It's a gift. Your 5-year-old child so say, I don't know everything. I'm bigger than you. I will protect you. I will feed you. I will make sure your body survives because you knew. But please never forget who you are. Tell your child. This sounds very simple, but tell the 5-year-old boy or girl, never forget who you are. Even if I tell you what to do, if it doesn't feel true to you, don't do it. Who wants that kind of love? But if you can do that, just like a confession. Trust yourself. Trust yourself, my child. I trust you. I may make mistakes, but don't worry about it. I learn from my mistakes. Don't be willing to make mistakes too. Like talk almost to like an adult. People think children are stupid. They're not. They're fucking intelligent. A 5-year-old boy or girl is intelligent still. You just have to respect them and look in their eye and bear your heart out. If you have to cry, cry. Bear your heart out and tell them the truth. That even if you're an enlightened parent, you're awake. No matter how awake one is, we have tendencies still, all of us, no matter how. So just, it's like an intimate moment with a child, 5-year-old. And that child, if you can do it powerfully from presence, I don't like to make promises, but this is what's happened on earth for thousands of years before. It was the rule. So I'm speaking from those ancient times, and it will still work. 5-year-old child, speak, open your heart. And that child will say, aha. They may not say it, but they'll say, I hear you. They'll look at you. And somehow you find from that day on, they're going to get brighter and brighter and brighter. By 21, more than likely, they will have a significant awakening experience. Suddenly, they'll come to you and say, it's happened, Father. They'll be like, I'm here now. That child will treat you because you gave him that 5-year-old. Wow. Because you're honest, you're truthful to him or her. Every child wants that respect, but we don't give it. That respect is why a lot of children are angry at us, because we're not respecting them. It creates anger. You're not trusting them, saying you're intelligent. You're just saying, you're an idiot. I know more than you. I don't care what you feel. I don't care what you want to eat. I don't care what you, I mean, oh, I don't care. That is painful.
Right.
It's painful. Like, wow, you can't even see me?
Mm.
You can't see me? Oh my goodness, how tragic. Makes me want to cry. Every child suffers. It's like, you can't see me? Oh no, you're a baby. What do you know? I've been here
Right. Oh, you're
for
so
years.
right. This is really painful to observe when, children are intelligent. It's when
Very intelligent.
it's like
They're
when we
wise. Not even intelligent, they're wise.
mm,
Sorry.
we have to treat them as equal, not as less than. And also a lot of the times they're more than, they're wiser than we are. We just,
They are.
from our point of view, we want to treat them as like a little
Like a little,
a little
yeah.
human.
Yeah. Like a little thing. More like a little thing oftentimes. Ah, keep that thing quiet. That's the father. Often
Right.
man. Often man. The attitude. Oh,
And often it will traumatize, and this is another subject that I'm sure we can explore some more. I have some stories to tell from my own childhood about
please.
how we traumatize our kids without knowing it.
Oh
And
yeah.
again, like, I would never blame like my mom, or I would never blame the parents who did it wrong because they didn't know any better. But now we have the all this information available to us. So you have the opportunity to learn and to know better and to not repeat the parents' mistakes, because most of our problems right now, relationship problems, life problems in general, they stem from childhood. They
Of
stem
course.
from that time when you were little and you've been told and you've been suppressed and you've been uh, like, you know, invalidated. Like, we were invalidated. And
That's
that's
what
the
that
problem.
word. Yeah, invalidated. That's painful. Thank you for saying that. Yeah. That feeling of being invalid, that's actually a powerful word. Thank you for using that word. But that actually, because I like words that carry the energy. I don't know if you're aware of it, maybe you were. Invalidation is actually what people call pain. Pain, to be invalidated is painful.
Yes.
If I was to give one word for pain, to be invalidated. So thank you for using that word.
Invalidating in a way like you shouldn't feel what you're feeling. And if the child
Yeah,
feels angry, you shouldn't be angry. You shut them
you
up. This is
can't do
not the
that.
way. So let's
Yeah,
let's save this for the later talk. This is like opens up a whole deeper, the whole next level of the rabbit hole, and we can dive deeper into these concepts for someone who's ready, to take it in. So I just want to
you,
thank you, Alua, so much for this talk. It's
thank you, my
it's
beautiful
really
sister.
been
Thank
a
you.
pleasure. It's
Yeah.
been amazing as always, and it's getting only better for
Yes.
sure. And we're definitely going to connect soon.
Please.
We'll post this as soon as I can today, and I will write all your contact info. And for those who don't know, Oluwa does his own practice as well. So you can book a session with him. You can, he does healing sessions, spiritual counseling. If you really want to get deeper on a personal one-on-one kind of situation where, you know, you have an issue, or even on this parenting subject, you can reach out to him and he can counsel you and really work with you one-on-one. So I'm going to post your information and under this video. And again, you guys, if you want to put some questions which we can address in our next talks, you can post that too or write us in private. And thank you everyone who's watched this till the end. You win. Who didn't get angry and turn it off.
Thank you guys. Thank you all. Thank you for listening. And I hope you guys got something from this, because this woman is just so beautiful. And I can only imagine the audience, because somebody like her will only attract the best. So it says a lot about you guys, that you guys are amazing. Love you guys. If you have any questions, please just let me know through her. And I want to do tons and tons of interview, because you know, we need to get this message out. And I love you guys. And if you want to reach out to me, feel free to reach out for a session or whatever, you know, just gossip.
Yes, and all the best and have a great day. We'll connect soon. Much love, everyone. And
Listen.
see you, Oluwa. Take care.
Bye.